Hello everyone, Spartan 9013. Today we're gonna have a review on the Dragon Ball Super movie Broly. Alright, this movie was awesome. I loved it. You guys should totally check it out. I know I'm a little late on the party because I watched it like 2 days ago and I watched it twice. So I kind of want to talk about this a little. Uh, so the movie opens up with wait, hold on. Spoiler alerts. Spoiler alerts. If you haven't watched this movie, I'll give you 5 seconds to leave now, watch it, and then come back to the video. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. If you stayed, then that means you watched the movie. All right. So the movie opens up with 41 minutes in the past before the present timeline. So it opens up with Planet Vegeta, basically, old Planet Vegeta, and we see a lot of Saiyans in there. Um, First, the King Code and his forces are arriving to Planet Vegeta, and everybody's trying to get organized, and everybody's trying to accept them into the planet. Welcome them to the planet. And when King Code arrives, he tells King Vegeta, who's kneeling down, like, "Hey, I'm no longer gonna be the emperor. I'm retiring, right?" And later says Frieza is gonna be the one to replace me. So the Code Force is now gonna be known as the Frieza Force, right? And in King Vegeta's fate, you could see that he was disappointed and angry because he didn't want to serve Frieza. He thought that King Code would like give them a leg or something, like would just leave them alone, leave the Saiyan race alone and stuff. He thought he would do that, but no. He transferred the power to Frieza, and so giving the Saiyans to Frieza's disposal. And Frieza introduces himself as a jerk as usual, and then he decides to introduce the new scouters, and then he pinpoints a couple snipers, right, that were pointing at Frieza. Now, first of all, why would you need snipers in planet? If you could blow up planets, why do you need a sniper? Why do you need a rifle? I didn't understand that, but hey, I don't know. So Frieza kills every single sniper that was around, right? We're using the scouter and just using death beams or left and right. So King Vegeta was like, "Oh shit, this guy, he's more crueler than his father," and they leave, right? So then King Vegeta goes inside the chambers where they have all the babies in the capsules and stuff like that. So apparently they give birth to the children, then they put them in capsules so they can develop a little. That's what I see happening. So like the mother, unlike humans, you don't have to like carry them around, breastfeed them and stuff like that. They just put them in capsules, and those capsules probably give them all the protein and everything they need to be healthy child until they're at the right age to go on the planets and stuff like that and blow them up. So Vegeta is in one of those capsules, right? So this is where the change begins, right? So if you remember the old Dragon Ball Z movies of Broly, you will say that Broly was at the same age as Goku, right? Now in this movie, which is canon now, Broly's the same age as Vegeta, right? He's around 6 years older than Goku now. And some people don't like the change, but I prefer it to be that way because it didn't make sense how he hated Goku. But, it would totally make sense why he will hate Vegeta. Now, King Vegeta was like, "Hey, why is a lower class Saiyan inside the same room as my son?" And the doctors were telling him, "Yeah, he has a lot of potential." So King Vegeta just decides, you know what, let's send him to a freaking planet where he's not going to survive. And Paragus was pissed, right? He entered the room and he's like, "Hey, why are you sending my kid to a planet that's not even worth it?" And like Paragus, when he was told that his son already was launched to planet Dampa, right? Vampa. So he was sent to planet Vampa, and Paragus stole a ship, and one of the maintenance guys got inside as well, like telling him to get out, and unintentionally went off with Paragus to planet Vampa. Then they landed on Planet Vampire, or crash landed, I should say, and they figured there's a lot of monsters in that planet, and it's unhospitable, and the climate is really hot and stuff like that. Um, so they found Broly. Broly was eating the leg of a spider, of a giant spider, right? Alien spider. So Broly, Broly like survived for 2 days in that planet alone. So you could tell like Broly was really OP already, right? And Perkins would say, well, he just went into the great ape form. And he probably did. Um, so the maintenance guy like tries to see what he can do with the ship to see if he can fix it, but it turns out he cannot fix it, and then will not be operational, and they will not be able to contact any help. So what Pericus does, he pulls up Vegeta, right? He just grabs his gun and shoots the maintenance guy, and he dies, right? He dies. He just kills him. All right, and then the scene opens up with Bardock going inside the planet with his friend, right? He's telling that he has a bad feeling that all the Saiyans are coming back to planet Vegeta, and Frieza's ship is right on, like, outside the planet, and Frieza hasn't even landed. So he suspects Frieza to blow up the planet. So from here, like, you can, like, in the old episode, the Bardock special, yeah, we were told that Bardock got hit in the head by this one guy who could tell the future, right? And so that's how he knew that planet Vegeta would be destroyed. Now in this movie that is canon, Bardock just has a gut feeling inside of him, right? If you think about it, it makes sense for him to feel that way, because Frieza is a cold-blooded bastard, no pun intended, and like suspiciously brings all the Saiyans inside the same planet. You know, it makes sense, right? So we were introduced to Gene, all right? And Gene was, I would say she's adorable, to say the least, right? And Bardock, when we see him, he's not the typical Saiyan for some reason. He's more of a family man, in a sense that he's not as ruthless in this movie than he was in the Bardock special back in the day. So he says, you know, we need to launch our son to another planet. You know, and watching the movie, I thought they were gonna do a little parody, like in the Team 4 Star. Like they would be like, instead of saying Earth, they would say E-Earth. I was hoping for that to happen, but they didn't do it. So I'm like, fuck me. It's just a little nitpick, that's all. So from there, right, then launch Goku to Earth, right? And Bardock says, if I turn out to be wrong, I'll rescue myself. And the reason why he and Gene didn't go with him is because they were afraid that they would track them down with their scouters. So that was not a possibility. So Frieza blows up the planet, and we see a scene of Bardock trying to basically save Planet Vegeta, right? He tries to save Planet Vegeta, but he couldn't, because the Death Ball was too strong for him, right? No, not Death Ball, Supernova. The Supernova was way too strong for him. And then we open up a scene with Nappa and a couple more Saiyans that ignore the Frieza's recall of the Saiyans, right? And Vegeta is like, damn it, now I don't get to be King Vegeta. What a fucking jerk, right? And they ask him about Tarpo, his brother, right? And he's like, I don't know, he's probably dead too. And then they ask Raditz about him, about his brother. He's like, he was still in a capsule, premature, what a failure of a Saiyan. And then he mentions that his mom told him that he was going to send Kakarot to Earth. And that just leads up to, they do a quick recap of the of Dragon Ball history and stuff like that. Just a couple seconds, right? Then it opens up with a scene of Goku and Vegeta training in a remote island, which, by the way, just think about how much money Bulma has. Because Bulma created another feature island, right? Like a resort, like a couple miles off of West City, I think it was, right? A couple miles off of West City, in the middle of the ocean. She has a freaking house in there, a pool. Just like, what the fuck? Like, the amount of money she must have to create her own fucking island. That's crazy. And now in Beerus, right? Beerus is just hanging in there, like he's just bored. And he's trying to shut Vegeta and Goku up because they're so loud and stuff. It was funny. So and then Bulma gets a call, right? And it's Trunks saying that, hey, someone broke into your lab. Vegeta was like, woman, I told you your lab needs more security. And Bulma was like, shut up, basically. So they went over the clips and they saw it was the Frieza Force, two Frieza Force soldiers with low power levels. That's why they didn't sense them, right? So this opens up with, all right, let's go for the Dragon Balls, right? Let's go search for the last Dragon Ball in the Arctic. and they left Beerus to be the babysitter of Bula. And Beerus was, yo, I'm a destroyer, not a babysitter. It was funny. It was a funny scene. And to be fair, I feel like they reduced freaking Beerus's character a little too much, because like when he was first introduced, he was like, oh my gosh, he's so powerful. Now he's like, yeah, he's a comic relief character now. He's just powerful when we want him to be. So then the scenes open up again, but with two people, right? Two aliens. I don't remember the names of them. Shelly's, I think is the female name. I don't know. I know she stole something from the Galactic Patrol, right? That's what she joined the Frieza Force and stuff like that. And like, you know, and they're searching for recruits with power levels higher than 1,000, because Frieza apparently saw that some of his men were not fighting hard enough, so he killed them all. You know, typical Frieza. And she mentions that, hey, I heard Frieza is a little man. The guy is like, no, don't say that, because then he's gonna kill you. He has killed for less. Like, Frieza kills someone because they have bad breath. Like, how evil can you be? All right? And the reason why Frieza is looking for the Dragon Balls is because he wants to increase his height by 5 inches. Like, one of his elite soldiers was like, why don't you go back to your second form? He's like, I want to be taller in my true form, and I'm a golden one too, and I want it to look like it's natural, like I'm still growing, because people make fun of Frieza for being short. And same thing goes with Bulma. Bulma wants to be 5 years younger. That's why she was collecting the Dragon Balls. And she already has 6 and didn't collect the 7th Dragon Ball because it was in the Arctic and she didn't want to go to the Arctic. Typical Bulma. Like, what the fuck? So, the two Frieza soldiers that are looking for recruits land on planet Vampa after receiving a distress signal, an old distress signal used by the Frieza Force back in the day. So they go into planet Vampa. And they see there's no one until Paragus arrives, and he's like, hey, are you from the Frieza Force? And they accepted him, and all of a sudden a freaking spider beast comes in out of nowhere and tries to kill them. And then here comes Broly out of nowhere. Paragus is like, Broly! And Broly just comes in and like, and destroys it, and everybody's like, what the fuck, my scouter cannot read him. And so they took them in, and they went to Frieza paid them a shit ton, I guess, because they have this little capsule thing, so I guess those are worth a lot of currency in the galaxy, I guess. I don't know alien extraterrestrial currency. So Paragus mentions that Broly, he has this collar that gives him an electric shock every time he misbehaves, so he can control him. Which, by the way, is kind of fucked up, if you ask me. Because why would you put your son through that? Like, that's just gonna make him even more violent if you are not able to control him, right? So like in the old Dragon Ball Z movies, the Broly movies, Broly is portrayed as a psychopath, basically, someone who's out of control. And you know, in this movie, they actually humanize Broly and give him a little bit of character, right? And that's what I like. When Paragus went to eat with the two guys that actually recruited him, right? he told Broly to basically shut up and not talk about his fur, the fur that he was having on his waist, right? And they're there to eat and not to talk. And then the girl is having a problem with him. Then a Frieza Force soldier comes in and he's like, hey, stop spending your time with these guys and spend some time with me. Basically pickup lines. And just like she doesn't want it, right? And the little guy, the little green guy that was with her, he's like, all right, pal, just go away. I'll get you a drink if you want. And he literally pushes the small guy. And then Broly out of nowhere stands up and he's like, hey, you got a problem with me? And Broly replies with, yes, I do. And the guy punches Broly and has no effect. Broly just like just choking him with one hand. And it was so funny. It was funny and at the same time like frightened. Like I got a little scared for the dude because I thought he was gonna get molested by Broly. And then Pericles comes in and like shocks him with the remote control, right? So the female soldier, right, the one that recruited Broly, she literally stole the remote from him, right? He had the remote on his waist in a little luggage, and she like literally like so sneaky. She pulled off a Bulma basically, so sneakily got the remote and then broke it after Pericles left to see Frieza, right? So they left, and Broly started talking about the fur that he had around him that was part of the ear of one of his friends, well, his only friend that was a monster that he helped train and stuff like that. And Pericles didn't like the idea of him playing around with a monster, and he literally just cut off the ear, and the monster, was mad. And this gives a little bit more character into Broly because he only had one friend that actually tried to kill him, and he befriended him, and then his father comes out of nowhere and just ruins the only friendship he ever had, right? And he says, I have this fur just to remind myself of the old times that I had my friend with me. And that like actually touched me. And like he tried to drink water, right? And he couldn't. So they opened up the bottle, he tasted it and looks at it, and he's like, what is this? And she's like, it's ordinary water. Don't tell me you actually never drank water or like clean water before. Which like had me thinking, oh my gosh, did he drink the blood of those spiders as to hydrate himself? Like, did he drink dirty water or drink the blood out of creatures that he killed just to survive? Like, and that has me thinking, like, these guys survived. Like, Pericles and Broly been on Planet Vampa for 41 years. So how the fuck do you do it? How do you survive in a planet that has no source of fresh water and just creatures that just want to kill you? He probably drank the blood of those creatures just to survive. And that's Houdini. So then the scene another scenes, I'm jumping from scene to scene, but I'm trying to touch everything in the movie. So Bulma arrives to Antarctica with the Saiyans, with Vegeta and Goku and Whis, because Whis decided to tag along with them. So they arrived there, right? And the Frieza Force soldiers found the last Dragon Ball by accident, if I may say. So Goku like it was a funny scene, right? So like the chip is trying to leave and Vegeta just like pew! And the chip just crashes, and then Goku just looking at them like and then the guys were like, oh shit, no, this guy's trying to kill us. But I'm like just cranking my ass up because is that your menacing face, Goku? So it was a funny transition, right? So Frieza arrives, right, and he just loves to make an opening, right, like a great opening, like he just boom, and all the clouds clear, right? He cleared all the clouds, and like he just made a badass entrance, and he used his telekinesis to draw the Dragon Balls to him and stuff like that. He introduced Broly and Pericles. Broly, like I don't know what was going on with him. I think he was pissed. The fact that, and this is how I see Broly's character when he fought Vegeta. He was pissed, not at Vegeta, but the fact that he was trained his whole life to fight Vegeta, right? His whole life was him being used as a weapon. And now that he has the source of his hate, right? Because Paragus is like casting, mistreatment of Broly comes from Vegeta. So Vegeta is the source of his hate and misery. So Broly, instead of being mad at Paragus for being a bad dad, he's mad at Vegeta because Vegeta's dad was the source of Paragus' hate. Therefore, Vegeta has to pay for all the suffering Paragus did to Broly. So Broly attacks Vegeta on command, and like Vegeta is just, he's fighting Broly and stuff like that. And Broly's keeping up with Super Saiyan Vegeta, which I'm gonna power scale Broly in another video. I'm gonna try to power scale Broly because the power scaling in this movie kind of went off the place, right? So Vegeta is fighting Broly, right? And then he goes into Super Saiyan God, right? And from there, he's like bodying Broly. From that point, Broly is no match for Vegeta. It's pretty evident that Broly cannot keep up with Vegeta as a Super Saiyan God. And then Broly, all of a sudden, taps into the Osaru powers, the Great Ape powers, right? And Paragus says this, like, okay, he's just tapping into the powers of a Great Osaru. But on this state, he's uncontrollable. He cannot find the remote because remember that female soldier took the remote from him, right, and destroyed it. So he basically says we're done for, and Vegeta is just having trouble with Broly, right? And it's not like he's struggling too much. He's just like surprised and caught off guard, right? He didn't seem heavily damaged. But then Goku comes in and decides to step into the fight. And Goku tries to fight him in his base form, but he couldn't really keep up with Broly in his base form. So, like, Goku transformed into Super Saiyan, he still couldn't keep up with Broly. So he turned into Super Saiyan God, and there he tried to calm him down with his with the God Ki. He kind of like transferred some of his aura to Broly just to control him, to manipulate him, right? His movement, and restrain him, and try to calm him down, right? He's like, hey, you don't have to fight, right? We love to live in peace and harmony most of the time in here on Earth. You don't have to fight. And then like Broly, and this is how I see Broly, like I've been trained all my life just to kill the source of my hate, and you're telling me that I don't have to. And like that questions Broly's entire existence, and that's why Broly got so pissed at Goku at that point, and like literally bodied Goku. Like he bodied Super Saiyan God Goku to the point that he had to turn to Super Saiyan Blue, right? He forced Goku to turn to Super Saiyan Blue, and the articulate. Oh my God, it was phenomenal. The animation was on point. Of course, it's a movie, but still, the animation was on point. It was perfect, right? And Vegeta jumps in as well. And I think he used his Super Saiyan Blue evolution because his hair was a little darker and highlighted than Goku's. I could be wrong, but why wouldn't Vegeta use that form, knowing full well that freaking Broly could literally just destroy everyone, right? And this was after, like, Vegeta jumped in after Paragus died, because Frieza killed Paragus, saying, okay, I think Broly is at his limit at this point. Paragus mentioned to Frieza, and Frieza death beams Paragus and tells Broly that Paragus has died, and Broly literally becomes a Super Saiyan and starts bodying Goku again. And that's when Vegeta jumps in, right? They both can't do much against Broly because Broly is so powerful. And this movie portrays Broly's character pretty well, right? Because whenever a fan asks about Broly, if I were to ask you about Broly, you would tell he's a beef dude, or he's very powerful, right? In his own right. So Broly is bodying both of Vegeta and Goku. They both cannot keep up. Goku communicates with Piccolo just for him to stay in the same spot he is, just in case he has to use instant transmission to escape. And that's what they do. So they draw Broly towards Frieza, and it was funny. Like, it's all yours, Frieza, and they left. And Broly just decides to, like, Frieza's just taking the hits. Like, Frieza is being used as a ragdoll. So they use instant transmission and they go near Piccolo and they record the fusion dance to Vegeta. And Vegeta was like, wait, is that the ballerina dance looking thing? So they attempt to do the fusion dance. So they messed up twice, right? So they have to wait 30 minutes for every time they messed up. Now, let's just appreciate something, right? Let's appreciate Frieza, right? Fighting Broly for 1 fucking hour. Just think about it for a second. Frieza fought Broly longer than Goku and Vegeta during that little time span, right? Broly fought, like Frieza fought Broly. Frieza had to like go to his golden form and still couldn't keep up. He fought Broly for an hour. An hour. We have to appreciate Frieza, to be honest with you. We have to appreciate him. So they do the fusion dance, and Broly's trying to freaking land a hit on Whis, right? And he just cannot land a hit on Whis. And then Gogeta arrives, and he tells Whis that everything's under control. And now he's gonna fight, and then they start fighting, and we see Gogeta on his base form, right? And then like he transformed to Super Saiyan form, then Super Saiyan Blue. And then as they're fighting, the two Frieza soldiers that recruited Broly, they collected the Dragon Balls and they're trying to make a wish to the dragon, right? So when Broly's in the tight situation, and he's about to get killed by Gogeta, they decide send Broly to Planet Vampa and save him. The female soldiers tell him. I don't remember her name. Chandeliz? I don't know her name. I don't remember her name, but something close. So they teleported Broly and the other guy, the little green guy that was with her, they escape from planet Earth to Planet Vampa, right? And Frieza was about to kill them, but Gogeta was like, not too fast, not so fast, and stop Frieza from killing them. And then they actually track them down. They decide, you know what? Frieza decided like, you know what? Let's not chase them, because they need to domesticate the brute, basically, trying to have Broly under control, and then they will go after them. But I do not know how Frieza is gonna know whether or not Broly gets more civilized, basically, what he's trying to say. So I don't know how he's gonna know that, but that's gonna be interesting, right? So in Planet Vampa, them two are with Broly. These two soldiers are with Broly, and they have a taste of Broly, what Broly has been eating for the past 41 years, and they're disgusted by it, and they don't know how to survive. Then Goku arrives, and they're like, also like, you know, they didn't trust Goku, right? They didn't trust Goku, so Goku used a capsule and opens up a little house, stuff like that, for them to sleep in and stuff like that. And he said every now and then he'll drop by and bring them some food and stuff, because the planet is disgusting, basically. I don't remember the proper name that Frieza used. Repugnant. Yeah, the planet was repugnant. And Goku did not know what repugnant meant until Frieza told him. So he says that, and he leaves, right? And he's like, he's looking at Broly. Broly, he's calm. He's not triggered. He's not even trying to fight Goku, right? Goku tells him he's not there to fight either. And that's like the big difference between Super Broly and Z Broly, right? Because the old Broly, the old school Broly, would just attack Goku on sight. That's why he attacked Goten in the second movie, because he thought that was Goku, but no. So freaking. And we got a lot of character out of Broly, because we see that Broly's not really a brute. He's more of a man-child. Like, he doesn't know better, right? He was raised in these bad conditions and outside civilization for so long that he doesn't know how to socialize with others, right? So Goku, he's like, as long as you guys allow me to fight him, I'll come back and stuff like that. And like, and when he leaves and they ask him for his name, he's like, my name is Goku. And then he looks at Broly, he's like, and Broly, you call me Kakarot. And I'm like, in my mind, I was like, this is the first time I hear Goku address himself as Kakarot. it was amazing. I loved it. And Broly was smiling and stuff, and meaning like he actually is considering having Goku as a friend, right? Now the thing is, Goku mentions that Broly is probably stronger than Beerus, but I'm gonna do a power scaling video later on, like in a week or two. I'm gonna do a power scaling video because I do not believe that's the case, but a lot of fans think that's the case, and they think that Broly is stronger than Jiren. But I'm gonna make a power scaling video about it. So like the way I see it, and I hope they do a good job like retelling this story in the anime, go more in depth in Broly's character a little, and the two characters that are now with Broly, right? Because Broly has a lot of character, right? And there's a lot to be desired of Broly, right? And Broly has a lot of potential in the story. And he could be a good ally to Vegeta and Goku. He's a good ally for them, and he'll be really useful for them, right? He's really powerful. And he used his berserk form. He was so powerful. They needed Goku and Vegeta to fuse together just to face them, right? So Broly is really powerful, but yet he's such an innocent man. Like, he's an innocent Saiyan, a pure-hearted Saiyan, basically. So that'll be interesting to see how they're gonna tell the story in the Dragon Ball Super anime, because it's coming back in 2019, and I am excited for it. So I hope Broly comes back, and Broly will be a good guy. I have a feeling that Broly will be a good guy, and that's gonna be really wonderful. And I want to see a fusion between Broly and Goku, or Broly and Vegeta, especially Broly and Vegeta, because remember, Vegeta was the source of Broly's hatred, and that would be interesting of Vegeta and Broly interacting with one another and trying to, team up and stuff like that. That would be interesting, right? Or having Broly and Gohan interact with each other, because both of them don't like fighting. Because Broly doesn't like fighting, and Gohan doesn't like fighting either. So have them both together interact with each other, they could probably go into an understanding of one another, and that would be interesting to see Gohan and Broly interact. Because it's interesting. There's a lot of factors here, and I would love to see it being portrayed in the anime. So like and subscribe to the channel, and share this with your friends. And subscribe to other YouTube channels that are Dragon Ball related, like Geekdom 101, Seth the Programmer, Chuck, Shock, I think, Shock. He goes by Shock now, not Shock the Cybercop. Anyway, if you want anything about Dragon Ball Z games and stuff like that, you go to Ramstyle. Right? And I don't know who else is there. There's Dragon Ball's. There's these other guys. There's a lot of YouTubers that I subscribe to. So subscribe to their channels as well. They actually very relative. They're reliable sources when it comes to Dragon Ball, and I like those guys. So subscribe to them as well.